The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 119 of The Daily Mother Swole. Swollen and rolling. Welcome to Flex Friday edition. Today, discussing what you should not eat after a workout. You just went to the gym, you finally got your pump on, you finally bonking threw down, you made it, you got it done, and now you're hungry. You're done working out, you're going home. What do you eat? What should you not eat? We've talked about this before. I've done some stuff similar to this in a Daily Swole. One of the things, the major thing that I want to get across that you should not be consuming after a workout is fiber. Now let's talk a little bit about fiber. Fiber is a great molecule. It's a great thing to eat. There are two types of fiber. There's insoluble and soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber helps make you feel full. It helps push things through your digestive system. Soluble fiber helps slow the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. Now, what that means is when you digest food, when you digest carbohydrates, when you digest and break down elements into the small particles that can get absorbed into your small intestine, your body releases insulin, which is a hormone from the pancreas that's kind of like a taxi driver that picks up the sugar, that picks up the glucose, and shuttles it to muscles, brings it to the liver to resaturate sugar stores in the muscles and the liver for energy. When you consume simple carbohydrates, when you drink soda, when you eat candy, when you eat processed carbohydrates, things that absorb very quickly, that can digest super fast, they do what's called spiking insulin. What spiking insulin means, you might have heard that word, insulin spike, is a sudden release of insulin. Insulin gets shot through the roof because there's all of a sudden a rush of carbohydrates present in the body because you've eaten, let's say, a McDonald's sandwich, you've drank some soda, you've eaten some candy, you've eaten some potato chips, you've drank orange juice. There's a sudden rush of sugar into the body, so your body sends insulin out like crazy. And what happens is if you do not need the carbohydrates, if you haven't worked out, if you're sitting on the couch, if you're just eating poorly, what happens is you have extra. Your body is shuttling sugar around to places that don't need resaturation, that don't need energy, and then your body kind of has the insulin is kind of holding the sugar, saying, "Oh fuck, where do I go?" There's nowhere to take it, so it just stores it and converts into triglycerides as body fat. So that's when you start adding extra body fat. That's when you start getting extra body fat accumulation on your body. In order to avoid those insulin spikes, and also on a side note, spiking your insulin regularly and having too much insulin present all the time can cause insulin sensitivity, which means diabetes type 2. You can actually get diabetes because your body has so much insulin pretty much released all the time. Your cells just kind of say, you know what? Fuck you, insulin. I'm ignoring you now. You're too annoying. You're too much. And your body kind of becomes resistant to insulin, which means you have trouble absorbing sugar and shuttling it around. And then you have to start being careful of what you eat, blah, blah, blah. So that can lead to something worse. Not saying if you have a cheeseburger or if you have some candy, all of a sudden you're going to have diabetes type 2. This is a constant elevation, a constant problem, and there's other different aspects and elements that can lead to it, but it's something to think about if you're eating junk food and you're not putting it anywhere. You're not doing anything to accommodate this extra increase in sugar. So after a workout, you want to resaturate. So after a workout, you don't necessarily, you want that. You want, and to an extent, you want your body to spike insulin. You want things that are easily absorbed, because if they're not easily absorbed, you're not going to recover. After a workout, there's a sense of window. You might have heard this called the anabolic window. It's actually not half an hour or 45 minutes. I'm not sure if it still says that on supplements now. It used to say you want to eat as soon as you can. You want to eat 30 minutes, between 30 and 45 minutes after a workout. You actually want to eat while you're still sweating. You want to eat as soon as freaking possible after workout. You don't want to wait 45 minutes because it takes time for your body to digest. This is why protein powders and post-workout drinks and shakes and things like that are popular, because they're liquid form, they're easily absorbed, and a lot of times after a workout, immediately people don't feel like digesting whole food because the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mechanism, your body's sensors to perform activity are, what's up, man? Your body's gears that are shifted towards sending blood to the muscles that are geared towards, that are turned on to perform activity, are still pumping, so digesting is uncomfortable. That's why you might feel nauseous whether you eat too close to a workout or whether you eat right after. Some people aren't hungry immediately because they haven't shifted back down into lower gears, into parasympathetic, into where the body is in the mode, nervous system wise and physiologically, to digest food. So digesting food after a workout could be a challenge, but it's necessary, and you want to avoid fiber because you do not want to slow absorption of nutrients. Eating fiber, eating soluble fiber, will slow absorption, got hair everywhere, will slow absorption of the carbohydrates into the body. Slowing absorption will limit your body's ability to process sugar and to shuttle sugar around to resaturate right after a workout. Yeah, after a workout, you want to try to keep fiber to a minimum. You can still have some carbohydrates. You can still eat a whole food. Everyone's different. Remember, everyone's different. Just because you are eating something that has fiber doesn't mean you're not going to get it in your system. But here's my point. If you have, let's say, a sweet potato, let's say I work out and I eat a sweet potato, because many of you know I don't do protein shakes. But after a workout, doesn't mean because you have something with fiber, you're not going to absorb it. You're not going to eat it. It just won't get in as quickly. You also know that I'm munching and I'm snacking on some Sour Patch Kids sometimes during my workout, sometimes most of the time during my workout, sometimes a little bit before, having a couple for a little sugar boost, and right after. So I'm getting my simple sugars. Protein is not the main concern when you train. It is carbohydrates. So I'm getting my carbohydrates. But if you're just going right from the gym to food, you want to make sure you're getting something in quickly. So I might have a little bit of candy. I use that as my strategy. I use that as my treat. I use that as my simple carb. But right after workout, having sweet potatoes and having vegetables immediately after, it will absorb. It'll take a little bit longer. My point is you want to just try to keep fiber to a minimum because you do not want to delay that absorption of nutrients post-workout. So fiber is great. Fiber is not the enemy, but after a workout, you want to be more cautious and more careful about consuming fibrous foods immediately after a workout. Have something right after your workout, and then maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour later when you have your meal, you can have something like a more well-balanced meal where you have more vegetables and you have more fibrous foods. So keep that in mind. Don't over-fiber right after a workout. You don't need to. Carbs are the focus. Right after a workout, just having a protein shake. Yes, I eat meat, just having a protein shake right after a workout, like just a protein shake, is useless. It's useless to just have a protein shake. A lot of people do that. A lot of people still do that. They'll work out and have like protein and water. You need carbs. Having a protein shake is not going to help you. It's not going to repair you. It's not going to give you what you need. You need sugar. You need carbohydrates, especially after a weight training workout. So make sure you're getting your carbs. Make sure you're getting your food with minimal fiber immediately after a workout, and that will help you saturate. That will help you rebuild your glycogen stores. That'll help you repair your muscle tissue. You can get your protein in too, but make sure that you're getting your carbohydrates and make sure you're avoiding fiber immediately after a workout. That way you are minimizing your risk of delaying nutrients getting into your system. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 119 of The Daily Mother Swole. I'll stay for a couple minutes briefly after. I'm very busy today, but thank you for joining Flex Friday. Make sure you check out my social media links and my social media channels. You can check me out on Facebook. You could also check me out, of course, live on Periscope and Busker. I'm also live on Facebook right now. You'll catch us later on YouTube, also as a SoundCloud podcast, on iTunes podcast, and a Stitcher podcast. You can also see me on Instagram, Snapchat, anywhere you want to type in Swolenormous, I will be. And also my private Facebook group, Swolenormous Premium, for private group training. You could sign up at www.swolenormous.com. And that's a great way to take your training to the next level, to get some personalized training and accountability in order to lose weight and build muscle. Finally, get your ass off the couch. So I'll see you tomorrow on Saturday for episode 120 of The Daily Swole. Peace out. I'll stay for a couple minutes.